Go ahead, tell them what you did, please.
Subtract 4 from both sides, and you get 3y is less than -4x plus 10. Divide by 3y and get y less than -4 over 3x plus 3 1/3.
Okay, thank you. Hayden, tell us, do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay, why didn't you change your sign? Why did you not change your inequality sign?
You didn't divide by negative.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we didn't divide by a negative. The only time you change it is if you multiply or divide by a negative, and since you didn't, you not change it. Very good. Good job on changing the sign of the 4x because you put it on the other side. Only thing I would add is remember you divide. You won't divide by y because these would cancel out, and that would make this like y in your denominator of these. So I would erase this y right there and just divide by 3. All right, perfect. Good job. What questions do you have on the bell reader? Okay. Putting things in slope-intercept form, that's one thing we've got to know how to do. Also, I want to remind you, this week we're working on putting stuff in slope-intercept form. Your ELC is going to be toward the end of April. And I do not spend a whole lot of time reviewing for the ELC, like I might spend a couple days on it, but I would rather get through more information than to go back and review information that we've already covered, okay? So that's going to be, what I do with my daughter is I find practice assignments on iExcel, and she practices those at home, and anything she gets wrong, we go over it, or if there's something she doesn't know how to do, she'll have me show her how to do it. I also assign her assignments, practice assignments on Big Ideas Math. Pretty much anything that we do in here gets assigned to her and she does it. Also pre-algebra, she's in my pre-algebra class, so that way anything I assign in there, she does it. There's tons of extra worksheets. You can always type in Algebra 1 ELC review in Google and it will give you tons of practice tests. So just Algebra 1 ELC review. And you can do practice tests, practice quizzes. My reviews are pretty much going to be the bell ringers.
What do we do after the ELC? Because we still have about a month of school after that.
We still do work. Right, the ELC is just a test to make sure you're learning what you're supposed to.
Because in my classes, we're just kind of not do a lot of anything like the government. We're just going to watch a bunch of history movies and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to keep moving. ELC is just a test to determine if you know what you're supposed to know. We still have a lot of stuff to cover after the ELC. So it's not like it doesn't mean that class is over. Like we keep going. The ELC is just a test.
Alright, if we make like a C or a D or like the least of classes class.
Yes, the ELC is worth 20% of your second semester grade, so it can only bring you down 2 letter grades. And that's only if you completely bomb it and make a 0. As long as you try, you're going to make something on it. You just have to try. A lot of it's pre-algebra stuff, so a lot of you'll get a score as long as you attempt it. I would say there's a lot of line of best fit, a lot of word problems where you have to write an equation, graph it, put stuff in slope-intercept form, find the slope, writing equations, given 2 points, and all that stuff. Pretty much everything that everything you already covered in year 1, but I covered again, is stuff that's going to be on the ELC. All right, I need you to get out your worksheet, the termite worksheet, so that way you can grade it, make sure you did it correctly. Also, in case you have any questions over anything, like you're not sure why it's incorrect, or you're not sure how to actually graph it. Yes, ma'am.
Do I need to like sit in the hole for this since
No. These problems are not simple problems where you just write down an answer. You have to actually graph them and work them out. So you'll be okay. as I mentioned, you need to make sure you have the correct answer, and if there's a line that you're not sure how I got the answer, just let me know, and I will do my best to explain it, how I got that graph. Okay, let's exit out of there, turn that off of freeze. All right, it says, what did the toothless old termite say when he entered a tavern? So on number 1, this is the inequality y is less than or equal to x minus 1, and you would have shaded below it. And then on y is greater than or equal to -3, that's this horizontal line, it's solid, and you would have shaded above it. And the part where the two things overlap is this area here. And if you were to extend it, you would get END. So for number 1, you should have END. Number 2, x is less than or equal to 2. That's a solid line, vertical line at the 2. This line is solid. Oh, I'm sorry, less than 2, you would shade to the left. And then this one you would shade below, and the part where they overlap is right here in this area. And if I would have extended that, it would be ERE. Number 3, y is less than -x plus 1. That's this line, it's dashed. And I would shade below it, so it would be shaded here. Y is greater than 1/2 x minus 2. That's this line, it's dashed, and I would shade above it, and the part where they overlap is this area. So if I extended it, it would be HEB. Okay. Number 4, y is less than x. If it helps you, anytime you have an x without a coefficient, that means the coefficient's 1. So my slope is 1. And when you don't have a y-intercept, that means it's plus 0. So your y-intercept is 0. Y equals x is the parent function. It crosses at the origin and it goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. This line is probably the easiest linear function to graph, y equals x. It's going to be dashed, and since it's less than, we would shade below. This one here, 3x plus 2y is greater than 1. You had to put it in slope-intercept form, and you get y is greater than -3 over 2x plus 2, so it crosses at 2. And then you go down 3 over 2, and that's dashed, and you would shade above it. And so the part where they overlap is this area. Number 5, when you put it in slope-intercept form, you get y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x minus 4. So that's this line right here. It's solid. And you would shade above this line because it's greater than. And then x is greater than 2. That's a dashed vertical line at 2. And you would shade to the right of it. So the part where they overlap is this area right here. This little trapezoid rectangle looking area. It's not exactly a rectangle. It's more of a trapezoid, but it's still that little area there. And number 6, y is less than or equal to 1. That goes horizontal across, and you shade below it. And 2x plus y is less than 1. You rewrite that into y is less than -2x plus 1. That's dashed, and you would shade below that line. And right here's where they overlap. And at the bottom, you should have gotten, is the bartender here? Okay. All right. What? Oh, sorry. This one, if you would extend it, would be art. This one would have been ERH. Forgot to tell you those. All right. Now, what questions do you have for me on graphing systems of linear inequalities? Okay. Keep that out. Also, keep out your notes from yesterday. Or get out your notes from yesterday. Oh, I better put the mask on. All right, you have a worksheet to do. Today's worksheet has all equations already, or all inequalities already written out in slope-intercept form for you. So you don't have to do any rearranging. You just need to graph the two inequalities, determine where to shade, and then find out where your final shade area is. Just like yesterday's worksheet, I need some way of knowing which one's your final solution area. So you either shade it in really, really dark, a lot darker than your other regions, or shade it, or erase the other parts and just leave that part shaded. You're gonna be working with your partner, so whenever you, after I pass out the worksheet, you'll be working with your partner, so that way you can help your partner, and that way whenever you're both done graphing, y'all can check each other's work. Working with your partner does not mean just let your partner copy off your paper. Working with your partner means try it on your own and then compare answers, and if they're different, or if your partner's having trouble, help them out. Help them out means you keep your paper with you and you explain to them how to do it. Okay, you don't just say, oh, here you go. That's not helping them. Tell them, okay, since the slope is this, or since the y-intercept is this, or even ask them, say, okay, what's your y-intercept? And have them graph it. What's your slope? Have them graph it. Okay, now how are you going to test a point? What point do you want to test to figure out how to shade it? Also, you'll have the rest of the class to work on it. If you don't finish, it'll be homework. Hopefully you finish. You have quite a bit of time to work, so you don't have homework. Cheney and Parker, y'all will probably want to watch the video and the notes first, and take notes, and then do the assignment. So, yes, ma'am.
I don't have headphones.
You can turn the subtitles on. Alright, and then let's see here. Hunter, if I can get you to work with Rebecca and Hayden. And Parker, if you wanted to move towards the back here, you could. If you want to, if you're in the back, if you want to stay there. If you would prefer to be further away from them, you're welcome to move to one of those back seats. But it's completely up to you.
Today is just kind of a catch-up.